What's up, foam warriors? Today we are cooking this Kasaka Venom Fang from Solo Leveling. Using mostly EVA foam and some cool finishing techniques, I'm Leon, and if you are into cosplay builds and tutorial, you are in the right place. The template link is down below, so go clicky if you wanna craft along. Once you got the template, first thing to do is of course print them out and cut along the dash line. Tape them like you are assembling IKEA furniture but easier. Alright, so after cutting all these dash line, and next thing is I like to use a glue stick and stick the pieces onto a harder cardstock, because personally I like to keep all my templates in a zip bag for any future uses. So these are all the different templates, and if you're wondering why I have like 3 different pieces here, because they are all serving different purposes. For example, like this one, this is the full template, the full design, so anything I can reference back to this one. And then this is the base template that includes all the base details and everything. However, for this one, this is another base template that includes the middle piece. Here, the middle piece here is actually for the middle structure, because the middle structure is very important. It helps with holding the whole thing in place, and it is very important whenever you make a sword or make a gun or anything. You will need a middle structure, the bone structure, so it will not be wobbly. Alright, so now we have all this template already cutting out, and we have like the base, the full template, and the another base for the detail. So the next thing we're going to do is we will make 2 copies on a 5mm foam, and then we're going to stick them together and then open a hole to fit in the structure. And for the structure, I always recommend using this kind of aluminum tube, because aluminum is lightweight and it's sturdy. Next, using the base template, grab your knife, stab the foam and make 2 copies on 5mm foam. Now grab your respirator, or else you will see anime demons and some rainbow castle, and jam the contact adhesive onto both sides of the foam like your morning breakfast. If you never used a contact adhesive before, you have to apply this onto both sides of the foam, like how you slather Nutella on your morning toast. So up to this part, I actually noticed that I forgot something, which is I forgot to enhance the tip over here, because normally I'll suggest to use a wooden skewer to hide inside here, so the tip will not get damaged easily. So first is you're gonna need this wooden skewer, and then we're gonna bring back this. This is the template. Have to measure the length of it just to make sure the tip doesn't interfere with this. So I use a cutter and then just cut it off. Next, I'm just going to take out this and then measure something somewhere around here. I'm going to push it in and do a marking. After that, we are going to use a knife to make a V-groove. If you don't know what a V-groove is, it's technically just cut from the both sides of the foam like this. You have to do slanted cut to the end, and then on the other side as well, just to cut like this. Alright, so this will make a groove that we can hide, or we can slot in the skewer into it like this. Then next, I'm going to use a super glue to fix the skewer in place. So I'm just going to put a tiny bit at the tip first and glue the skewer in, and then the rest of the skewer. Because right now I already have this the glue on, so try not to mess with it. So I am putting a few pieces of paper or cardstock just to hide it. So what I can do next is I can lay this on just to get the shape of the skewer, so I know where I'm supposed to cut it.
So if you are watching my tutorial, just remember you have to do this before you apply the contact adhesive, because or else you will be like me. It is not impossible to do, but you will need to do a little bit more work to get it done. Alright, so I kind of get this marking over here, so I'm just roughly draw the lines like this. Yeah, this is kind of it. And then I'm just going to make the groove. Alright, there we go. And now this should be big enough to hide the skewer in. And we are going to do exactly the same at this edge and also here.
Now we got all the steppy part enhanced. Sandwich it with another foam piece like your grilled cheese supper. Use a piece of paper when sticking them, so it will not mess up like my life. After we got the bad boy ready, now we're gonna give it a bone of my sword by removing this middle part at the template like how my ex removed me from her life, and trace it onto the bad boy. Cut open just the longer side and do not rip it. I repeat, this is not a drill. Now murder another 2 pieces of the base on 3mm foam. And stick just one side down with contact adhesive. At this point, do not stick the middle part because it will be removed later. And now carefully cut the middle piece. Get it away and slot in the aluminum tube like the emotional support. Now use steel epoxy because other glue and loyal to metal. Mix the AB compound like a curd soup, then fix the aluminum in place so it will not be spineless. After the epoxy is cured and dried like my wallet, sandwich the other side and we got ourselves the base dagger ready.
So right now, we already have the base over here, and the next thing we're gonna do is I'm going to remove all these dashed lines you can see, or dotted line you can see. This is actually the sanding guide. This is where I'm going to stop to sand it, because these parts are mostly the blade, so the blade has to be sharpened. That means we're going to sand the side, but the dashed line over here is going to be our sanding guideline that where the sanding will stop. And then I'm going to add also this part as the base, because this base is where the detail is going to raise out, and I'm going to add a little bit of thickness into this handle over here, and also at the back I'm going to add the sanding guideline here because we are going to sand the back here.
Use the template to mark the details. Slap this part on with 3mm foam and this part with 2mm foam. Mark all the sanding line because we am making Minecraft sword. Oh, and don't forget these tiny spiky details. Slap 2 pieces of 5mm foam for this one and 5mm for this. Now it's everyone's favorite Dremel time. This is where all the magic dust came from. Round off the handle and the wingly part, and also the spiky thing. Bevel the blade and make it sharp. Use a rough bit to carve out most of the material first, then use a smooth bit to smooth it out like a smooth criminal. If you made it this far and found this tutorial helpful, hit that like button, sub to the channel, and send it to that one friend who still use cardboard. Lol. And now we got some nice curve here like a pro. Now let's DLC this thing with details. We're gonna layer this part with a 3mm foam. So I cut this template out, mark onto the dagger, and make this. I kinda forgot to record this part, but I gotcha in the template. Now slot this baby in, like putting on your pants after a nice shower. And fix it up nice and tight with a super glue. For the details on this thing, mark the line and make V-groove cut. Slice left, slice right like a ninja, leaving a nice and clean cheekbone contour. Alright, time for this spiky thingy. Slap on the template as your cheat sheet, then hit every line with a clean V-groove slice like carving a foam sushi. Next, cut 2 of these out with 10mm foam, then Dremel them down like you're sculpting twin pyramid. Now use the template to mark out all the dagger's details. Then make a shallow slice on every line. Nothing too deep, just tiny enough to hurt its feeling. Finally, glue the rest of the final details on, and give those lines the old V-groove treatment. Now the blade is forged, details carved, time to hit it with a heat gun. Heat sealing the foam with a heat gun. It will melt the surface a bit, seal those pores, and pops open all the shallow cuts we made earlier. Please take note that hitting the same spot for too long will toast the foam, so make sure just a quick hit pass enough to seal the foam and reveals the details, unless you want to grill the foam. Oh, and also try to avoid the contact adhesive layer because it doesn't like high heat and might come undone if you are not careful, so the life commitment issue and will break up on each other. Time for some priming actions. I like using a spray gun with water-based paint, quick and clean. But if that's not in your toolkit, white glue, PVA glue or plastic dip will do the trick. Just don't skip this step. Paint needs something to grip onto or it will get eaten alive by the foam. After priming a few good old layers, I first painting everything with a layer of silver. And I try to airbrush some purple-blue chameleon effect onto the blade part, but it isn't that obvious on the camera because it's better with a black base. Well, at least I tried. Now comes to the everyone's least favorite part, the masking stage. Just mask off the areas, spray your next color and repeat until you are done. Remember those shallow cuts we made earlier? Now they got your tab cuts like a built-in stencil. Pretty genius, right? Well done. After that, just continue the rest of the colors until you are done. Now look at this beauty. Alright, so before we wrap this up, here is the actual wrapping part. I'm using double-sided tape on the handle, then trim a piece of leather and slap it onto here. After that, cut some 1 cm leather strips and give it a snug little spiral wrap. Last step, let's go with some shader magic. Mix some black and gold acrylic paints, dab it into those V-groove for that epic finishes. And just like that, we are done.